Hey guys, it's Melissa here, back at you with another fun hot seat coaching episode, bringing these to you guys from streaming live inside of our Burnout to All Out community, where our listeners within the community have submitted questions to me and they've been selected to get their questions answered live in my Facebook page, Burnout to All Out. Now, if you're listening and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I get a chance to do that? Super simple. All you have to do is text the word question to 1-833-310-7171. Let me say that again. Text the word question to 1-833-310-7171. And when you do that, you'll be prompted to submit your question, and 2 to 3 people within our community will be selected every single week to come into our Facebook page, Burnout to All Out, get some live on-screen coaching, and have a chance to be featured in my podcast. So what are you waiting for?
Hey gang, Melissa Hinault here with the Burnout to All Out podcast. I'm a mom of 3, corporate burnout that built a secondary 6-figure income around my 9-to-5 with little kids. This set me free and allowed me to fire my boss and pursue my wildest dreams. It took grit, persistence, and belief. But now, operating multiple 6-figure businesses as an online entrepreneur and business coach, I have become a serial entrepreneur with a passion to inspire more burnouts to take the leap and go all out and live out their dreams. Each week, I'll bring you inspiring all-out guests, lifestyle business tips, and tools to empower you to take the leap from burnout employee to all-out entrepreneur, making your passion your paycheck. If this mom of 3 corporate burnout can go all out, so can you.
All right, we are live inside the Burnout to All Out community. I have vowed to come in here once a week and do some live feedback coaching with you guys. Kimberly has been brave enough to raise her hand and say, ooh, I want to participate in this. So we're going to be doing these every Monday, guys, by the way, every Monday. You can submit your questions in the Burnout to All Out Facebook community. We also have a text option. But Kimberly, without further ado, let's just jump in. Let's start with you just sharing a little bit maybe about your background and your business so that we can most effectively help you.
Okay, sounds good. So I was a teacher for 16 years. I taught everything from pre-K to college. And I decided that I was not making the impact that I wanted to make in this world as a teacher. And so I'm a life coach. And I've helped Gen X women, and Gen X women were born roughly 65 to 80. There's debate, but they're in their 40s and 50s. And some people say it's midlife. And so what I do is I help them make a major change, whether it be leave their career, move, find a hobby as an empty nester, something like that, so they can live out the second half of their life totally fulfilled. I say that I help Gen X women rebel against the expectations of others and rediscover who they are so they can live life on their own terms.
Okay, awesome. So how long have you been using LinkedIn?
I got on there a long time ago when I was job hunting, when I was trying to leave teaching, and it's kind of updated. So I don't even know how many years. I've been on there a while. I have a ton of connections, but I threw up a headline last night because I knew we were meeting, but it's not a good one.
Yeah. So what made you decide to pivot and use LinkedIn?
Okay, because my target audience are Gen X professionals. And I think a lot of them are working jobs they don't want to be in, or like I said, they're empty nesters. So maybe their job is fulfilling them, but they're becoming empty nesters. My son's 18 and then going to college. I'm in my mid 40s, so that's kind of in the range. And sometimes you're like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm not just Alex's mom anymore. I am my own person. What do I do with myself? That kind of stuff. And so I believe more so, yes, my target audience is on Facebook, but they're on LinkedIn because they're professionals.
Right. And their mindset is different. I talk about this a lot. Did you participate in our Inside Scoop?
I did. And when I heard all that about like Facebook is kind of socializing and entertainment, but LinkedIn, you're in a different mindset. And when you shared that one story about the woman who had reached out to her friend on Facebook and nothing, but then on LinkedIn, same stuff. And she's like, oh, because her mindset's different. So I need to be over there on LinkedIn because I know that's where my people are.
Yes. And that's where they're receptive to it, for sure. Okay. That's really helpful. So what I'm going to do then is, so you want me to look at your profile?
Let me look at your profile, get some feedback on, I know I didn't write a good headline, but then also it's like, I need to delete all that job experience, but part of my brain is, you're just going to delete it.
Well, you don't necessarily need to delete your job experience because I think that lends credibility professionally. So we'll talk about that. Let's pull up your screen. So for those of you who catch the podcast, you're not going to see what we're talking about, but you'll hear the coaching, and I think it'll still be very beneficial. Okay. So when I'm looking at Kimberly's profiles, the first thing I noticed, Kimberly, and let me just ask you, and this is for all of you guys to think about, when your prospective client or business partner lands on your page, how do you want them to feel? How do you want them to feel when they land on your page?
So I bring a lot of creativity and whimsy and playfulness into my coaching because I want them to get in touch with their inner child so they could find their joy. So that's how I want them to feel. And I didn't even know that background thing was a thing until last week. So I haven't even made something for my banner because I didn't even know. I was like, oh, they just put that there.
Yeah. So what I see on Kimberly's profile is the blue original banner that comes with LinkedIn, right? Mm-hmm. So when I hear you say whimsy and fun, when I land on your profile, I'm like, where's the whimsy and fun? I think on your Facebook page, you probably have a really nice banner that has kind of your punchline and it's colorful, but then there's no warm, whimsy, fun play when I land on your LinkedIn page, right? So that would be my first piece of advice. And Canva is a great place to get started and create your own banners on LinkedIn. So there's that. Okay. So, and then let's get to your photo. So your photo, it's a great picture of you. However, the piece of advice I'll give you and I give to everyone is it's monochromatic, meaning your shirt, your hair, and the background are all the same color. So there's no contrast. At a minimum, I'd love to see a different background color from your hair to create a little bit so that you're not just kind of like your hair in the background and your shirt are all just kind of blending together, right? But then also knowing that like fun and whimsy is part of what you're trying to portray, I would maybe want to see a little color in your shirt, like something a little fun. When I look at this, to me, and this, I'm just like tough love. If you get to know me, this is how I am. I'm a straight shooter. This is just a very corporate photo, right? Like I'm doing what everybody else is doing here on this platform, conforming and looking this particular way. But if you're a life coach that's inspiring people to live all out in play and whimsy, like I'm not seeing that in the photo. Does that make sense?
100%. That's a headshot I had taken, I don't know, years ago. My hair doesn't even look like that now. So yeah, I see what it's not representative of me at all.
Right. Yep. And if you guys go to my profile until recently, because you can actually put a 30-second video in your profile photo now. But my profile photo, I'm in like a bright pink, hot pink jumpsuit. It's professional, but it's bright. Right? Because I'm inspiring professionals to live all out on their terms. I never would have worn a hot pink jumpsuit to my corporate job, but since I work for myself and I'm living all out the way I want to, that's how I roll. Now, in the past couple of weeks, or actually the past couple of months, LinkedIn has created a new function that's on your photo. You can actually upload a 30-second video. And we train on this inside of our academy. We've done a whole module on this on creating that powerful 30-second message that really shares who you are and what you're about, right? So that's something to consider as well. So tell me a little bit, read your headline out loud.
Okay. It says, Gen X coach who helps women rebel against the expectations of others and live life on their own terms.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. I love the meaning of your headline. And the challenge is that the punchline is not going to be seen where you go on the platform and where we strategically coach inside the academy on really getting into the comment section and engaging. For those of you who are listening to the podcast later, what we're talking about is the headline under her name. You really want it not to be more than about 6 or 7 words max. What I will show you is, and anybody can do this, it's a really good exercise, is in the comment section, you can see how Kelly Roche has business growth strategist. Bam. In 3 words, she has told you what she can do. Coaching 6 and 7 figure service base. Okay, we don't see the end of the last part, but we know she's in big business, 6 and 7 figures, right? But her punchline is there, business growth strategist. The challenge with your headline right now is that it's so long that the punchline is missed. And it's going to become important when you get into, like, I would coach you inside the academy to be spending way more time actually in the comment sections, getting engaged in a thread like this with other people who are entrepreneurial, that are female, because those are your ideal client, right? That are between 40 and 55. And so the more you can follow influencers like Kelly, myself, people like Tracy, and get into the chat section, the comment section, you're marketing your business and your brand through your punchline in your headline. However, if the punchline of the punchline is missing in text, you're not going to catch their attention. So Gen X coach who helps women rebel against is about as far as you're going to get. Right? You see what I'm saying? So, like, see underneath Kelly's, it would be like Gen X coach who helps rebel against the expectations. Maybe you'd get that far, right? Mm-hmm. But you'd miss the punchline on life on their own terms. Mm-hmm. Your headline is your lead magnet on this platform. Mm-hmm. So how could you take that headline and bring it down to about 6 or 7 words? What could you cut out?
I had to look at it again.
So, like, the first thing you could do, instead of saying Gen X coach who helps, I would say Gen X coach leading. So then you're cutting a word out. Or rebel against. Gen X coach leading women. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to play with it, but you can use fun words like buck the system. You've got the word rebel, but the bottom line is you've got a really long sentence instead of an actual punch. So, like, Kelly's got it down to business growth strategist, right? She's got it down to 3 words, business growth strategist. Could you say Gen X coach leading women to rebel against the status quo or something like that? But the bottom line is, as much as you want to pack everything in, what you have to realize is that the audience that you're engaging with isn't going to see your punchline when it's that long. So for me, corporate dropout, right? Or LinkedIn expert, right? So what can you do to create curiosity succinctly to drive them then to your profile where then they'll learn more? But you have to catch their attention first. Then you can give more detail. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I wrote Gen X coach leading women on a revolution.
Yeah.
Or Gen X coach leading women to rebel against the status quo. That one may be too long. My program is called Gen X Revolution. So
you're going to have to play with that. And the way you can beta test it is, once you think you've got it good, go comment on somebody's post and see how much of your headline shows up.
Okay.
And see if the punchline is there. Because the key is, the headline needs to create enough curiosity that people know what you're about and they want to go to your profile. But if we put too much detail in the headline, we miss the punchline, we never get them from the comment section to your profile in the first place. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense.
Hey there, we're going to take a brief little interruption. I think you guys will love why I'm doing this little interruption. And that is because we hear from you all the time over in the Burnout to All Out community on our Facebook page. You've got questions, you want coaching. And so one of the things we are opening up to our Burnout to All Out community that are listening in right now to this podcast is a chance to get your questions answered in a live hot seat coaching session with me, yours truly, Melissa Hinault, in our Burnout to All Out community. And the audio will be recorded and you will be debuted in our podcast with your questions. So if that piques your curiosity and you're intrigued, here's the deal. All you have to do is text the word question. Again, text the word question to the number 1-833-310-7171. Again, text the word question to 1-833-310-7171. And when you do that, we will come back to you with another message asking you to submit your question. 2 to 3 lucky people will be selected every single week to be featured in my Facebook community and on my podcast. Looking forward to hearing from you guys.
Okay. And then the last thing you wanted to look at was
all that experience I have on there.
The one thing I want to give you advice about in your about section is I would love to see a call to action. So you've talked about what you do, but how do people contact you?
Okay.
Right. So, and again, inside of our academy, we show you can add a featured section and put a calendar link in there. You can invite people to book a discovery call with you.
Okay.
Right. You can even embed survey questions to pre-qualify people before they get into a call with you. So we do that a lot in the academy. We create pre-qualified survey questions. And then they can find you if they like what they see. They can fill out a survey or a questionnaire and book a time with you that works for them. But that's where you have to make it easy and invite them to do it, right?
Okay. Yeah, I have a Calendly link with questions and everything. So
awesome. So you just need to embed that into your featured section, and then you need to talk about it in the about section.
Okay.
The featured section creates a hyperlink, so they just click, versus in the about section, if you type something in, they've got to copy it and then paste it into a web. So what was your concern about your experience?
Well, in the challenge, you had said they'll just have everything listed chronologically, so I don't know what.
Oh, that's for the about section.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's for the about section. So a lot of people have in their about section, they legit have like their work history written. I would put a call to action in your about section and even consider creating some white space, meaning like, is there a way to say like life is too short to settle for, and then put some bullets underneath it, like motivation, unhappiness, working for a job that leaves you empty. Create some white space because adults have the attention span of a gnat wherever they go, not just on Instagram and Facebook, right? That's the same on LinkedIn. So the more visibly easy you can make it for people to follow, the better.
Sounds great.
Right. Awesome. Well, I would love to see after you do the work, I would love for you to take your work and post it in the Burnout to All Out community and tag me so we can see the changes that you've made.
Awesome. Thank you. And I appreciate the ideas on the headline. I remember what you talked about. I wrote down all your examples last week, but I needed to hear it as applied to my stuff. So to help, thank you so much, Melissa.
Absolutely. And you know what? Like if you've got other people in your coaching community that need some feedback, tell them to come into the Burnout to All Out community and post their question. We'll help them out. Submit your questions. We'll help you next week. All right, Kimberly. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Burnout to All Out podcast. For free resources, materials, or information on my coaching services, go ahead over to livethefreelife.co. That's livethefreelife.co. Or check out our Facebook community at Burnout to All Out, and make sure you follow Burnout to All Out on Spotify and subscribe to iTunes. And it would truly mean the world to me if you paused for just a second, gave me that 5-star review of the show, and be sure to share this episode with any burnouts you think would be inspired to go all out after hearing this episode.